We're standing by is the head coach of the University of South Carolina Gamecocks, Coach Will Muschamp. Going to be in Spartanburg tonight for the Spurs up toward the Lodge at Lake Bowen Commons. Coach, good morning.
Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Coach?
I'm doing wonderful. Looking forward to coming to Spartanburg tonight. May try and eat at the Beacon there.
Hey, I wouldn't blame you one bit if you did that. Get you a chili cheese aplenty, absolutely. Coach, last year, a fantastic season. A lot of folks thought this would be a 7-win team. You end up winning 9 ball games, including a big Outback Bowl win over the Michigan Wolverines. Coach, talk a little bit about last year and how you expect to build on that season.
Well, I think as much as anything, we had a really young football team our first season, and we had again, another young team last year. Over 70% of our roster was still freshmen and sophomores. So those guys grew up and matured. I think we had some really good players that are now going into their third season with us, some in their second season with us. I saw a lot of maturity through that. I saw a lot of guys push through some situations, and we won some close games. And in our first 2 years, we're 10-3 in one-score games. So our guys understand how to win a lot of those games when we're in those situations. We didn't handle the moment very well against Kentucky, against Clemson, at home at Williams-Brice, and we should have handled those moments better. So there's still a lot of learning to go on. We've made progress, but as I tell our fan base, I tell our football team all the time, we haven't accomplished anything. So let's don't confuse progress with accomplishment.
Coach, one of the spots that was a very bright spot last year and will assumedly be a very bright spot again this year was your wide receiving core. You bring back most of those guys, including Deebo Samuel from right here in Inman. How has Deebo progressed injury-wise, and is he ready to go?
Deebo's doing extremely well. Really pleased with his progress. And when we kick this thing off in August, he's going to be ready to roll. So really excited about, obviously having him back. And I think from a playmaking standpoint, it's one thing, but from a work ethic standpoint, that's how he positively affects everybody on our football team because he practices the right way. And football is a developmental game, and you got to have guys that understand how to practice. And he does it the right way. He's a great example for all the young players. He's a great example when he was healthy for Shi Smith and Ortre Smith, 2 freshmen that played really well for us last year. And obviously, Brian Edwards stepped into Deebo's role as the go-to guy and had a fantastic sophomore senior season, and looking forward to a big junior year. And Chevis Dawkins, obviously from up there in Burns, is another guy that we're relying on to step up for us. So we've got a good core of receivers. Coach McClendon has done an outstanding job of recruiting that room and changing that room since we've been here, and that certainly should be a bright spot of our football team.
Well, Coach, while we're talking about the offense, let's stay there for just one more second. You bring in a new offensive coordinator, Coach McClendon, going to run the offense now. How is the offense going to change? How is it going to look different under Brian McClendon?
Well, we'll play with more tempo. I mean, we're going to be on the ball. We're going to stress the defense. We're going to dictate the tempo of the game, and we're going to play faster. Obviously, I think there'll be some schematic things that you see will be different, but we'll let you watch those in Williams-Brice on September 1st. But we got to play faster. At the end of the day, some of the fronts we play are very difficult to block, and I think tempo affects them more than anything else. And they're very difficult to block when they're able to get their cleats in the dirt and anchor in there and play. And so we go against some of the best front sevens in college football. We've got to be more creative in finding ways to run the ball, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, Coach, you said you told your team that you guys acknowledge the fact that there's progress, but you guys have not accomplished anything yet. What are some of the goals that you would like to accomplish this season?
Well, every goal and every season, our goal is to win our state and to win the East. If you win the East, you got an opportunity to play in Atlanta. If you win in Atlanta, you got an opportunity to play in the college football playoff. So that's our goal every single year. That was our goal from day one. We took over the program.
Coach, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. That's where your heart and soul is. Tell us about this defense. You lose Sky Moore, one of the best players on the defensive side of the ball in South Carolina football history. How do you replace him, and how does the defense stack up this year?
Well, I don't know that you replace guys like Sky. I mean, he was a fantastic player for us. The only one, I think, one of 13 guys in the country that have led their team in tackles for 4 years. And that's unheard of. And that 14 interceptions for a linebacker, I've never been around anything like that. He's going to be an outstanding pro, and I know the Colts are happy to have him. But we need some guys to step up and play, and it might be a multiple guys. Eldridge Thompson, Sherrod Green, T.J. Brunson are all 3 guys I've got confidence in. Damani Staley's a guy that continues to come on for us. Our front four I feel good about from the standpoint of Dennis Wanham. Getting Bryson Allen Williams back is going to be huge for us. Another guy that was injured last year that missed a year that's going to be a big-time playmaker for us. Javon Kinlaw and Kier Thomas. Aaron Sterling continues to come on. We've got some young players that have emerged. J.J. Mbare, Tyreek Johnson, that two guys I'm excited about. So we've continued to recruit, I think, very well up front, and I think we'll be better up front, and hopefully we'll be deeper.
Coach, you just talked a little bit about recruiting, and you guys have been able to land some, top prospects. You guys got Howinski, and talk a little bit more about the job that you and your coaching staff have done so far, bringing in more talent, more highly regarded high school players to come play football at South Carolina.
Well, if you can't recruit for us, you can't work here, and that's the bottom line. It's the lifeblood of your program, and that's something you've got to do every single day of your life if you want to be a really good football coach in college. I think as much as anything, guys, what people see and what recruits and parents see is the investment we're making in our football program, which, in my opinion, in my small history here, in my research, we've never really done that totality before. From a standpoint of $50 million dedicated to a 110,000 square foot football operations building, which will be finished in December. Obviously, we'll continue to enhance the game day atmosphere at Williams-Brice Stadium. The Dodie Anderson Academic Center, we finished first in the SEC in graduation rate. 650 Lincoln, where our players live. Our nutrition program is the best I've ever been around. So all of those things have improved tremendously, and that's because of Coach Tanner and the support we have from our administration. And so to me, I mean, we're really investing in our football program. We're really invested in the student athlete. And when recruits see that, they realize that that's real. And that's what's going to be different about South Carolina moving forward. We are investing in those things. We are making an effort to be competitive to win a championship. And that's what you've got to do. And when recruits see that, they get excited about it. But I also want to talk in terms of our staff does an outstanding job of evaluating players, number one, and number two, recruiting them to come to South Carolina, which is a much easier sell now than maybe it was day one.
Coach Will Muschamp joins us on the Sign Force hotline. Coach, I heard Coach Bentley speak the other night, and one of the things that he was really high on was one of the tailbacks you brought in for 2018, Levante Valentine, and he talked about his speed. Coach, just touch on that briefly. How fast is he?
Well, he's a guy that's also going to run track when he's healthy. He came off an ACL senior year and came in mid-year, has rehabbed it extremely well. But, you're talking about a 10-4, 10-3, 100-meter, which is a difference maker on the football field, and a guy that can touch it one time and get loose. And there aren't many people catching him. So he had a big-time high school career and obviously on the football field and running track. And he'll do both for us. And haven't seen him in pads yet, but certainly excited about adding that speed element to our football team.
Coach, one place that the Gamecocks struggled last year on the field was the kicking game. How has that progressed this offseason?
Well, Joseph Charles is probably as fine a punter there is in the country, and we're excited about him. We've continued to recruit more speed for our football team, so I think that affects, number one, defensively, number two, on special teams, to be able to have more guys that can play in space. And that's been a cognizant effort of our staff to make sure that we improve that on our roster, and I think we've done that. As far as the kicking field goals, which we had some issues with last year, Parker White, I thought, did a nice job in the spring. Alexander Wozniak continues to improve, and we'll have more competition as we move into fall camp.
And Coach, Jake Bentley is going to be in his third year, his second year as a full-time starter for South Carolina. What are some of the things that you want to see from him this season?
Just the natural progression at the position. At the end of the day, the quarterback's the leader of your offense, really the leader of your team. And Jake's been a guy that's only the third player in school history to have been voted team captain by his teammates as a sophomore. That says a lot about the respect he's got of his teammates. He has a tremendous work ethic. He's extremely bright. Just to continue to take the natural progression, I think he plays better when we play fast, and that's something I think he likes. He embraces. You take the spring game. We're in a cover two look defensively. Safety doesn't cover down on the whole shot, and he hits the whole ball for about 38 yards. So those are things to me that really taking advantage of his strengths, and that's what we're going to do moving forward, and I expect a big year from Jake.
Coach, you're going to be in Spartanburg tonight. You're going to be at the Spurs Up Tour. What is something you're going to tell the fans tonight to get them pumped up for football season?
Well, I don't have base is always pumped up for football season. I can't wait till September 1st. That's for sure to get in Williams-Brice with our fan base, which is the most loyal, passionate fan base in the country. But I really enjoy getting out and meeting everybody. I do 8 or 10 of these every spring, and it's really, I enjoy it from a standpoint of just, to me, a way to say thank you. Thank you for your support for our program. We couldn't do it without the Gamecock Club as far as the scholarships and all the different things that we provide for the student athletes. We couldn't do it without our fan base, and we've got a great fan base. It's just a small gesture to say thank you to them.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll talk to you again before the season starts.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks, Coach.
That's Coach Will Muschamp, the head football coach, University of South Carolina Gamecocks, joining us on the Sign Force Hotline. We'll take a break. We come back. We wrap up your show for Thursday. If you're in the market for a job and have experience as a